2019 City of Manistee Planning Commission meeting. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please take roll.
Commissioner Slawinski.
Here.
Commissioner Szymanski.
Present.
Commissioner Thomas. Commissioner Weiner.
Here.
Commissioner McBride.
Here.
Commissioner Yoder.
Here.
Chair Whitliff.
Here. Thank you. Approval of agenda. At this time, the Planning Commission may approve the September 19th, 2019 special meeting agenda. Is there a motion?
A motion. Second.
Motion by Bob, second by Shelley. Any discussion? None? Please take roll.
Commissioner Slawinski.
Yes.
Commissioner Szymanski.
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas.
Yes.
Commissioner Weiner.
Yes.
Commissioner McBride.
Yes.
Commissioner Yoder.
Yes.
Chair Whitliff.
Yes, thank you. Approval of minutes. There are no minutes to approve. Public hearings, we have none. I want to read this. All comments and handouts from the speaker at the podium will go through the chair. Also, there will be no interaction between the podium and audience. These rules cannot be followed. The chair can terminate this portion of the meeting. I just want to add one thing. Over the last meeting that we had some people stand up and not during the public comment and start discussing things towards the commission. I would ask that you do not do this. I will give one warning. If it continues, I will ask you to leave. If that continues, I will call the police and have you removed. So, thank you. New business, we have none. Old business, I'd like to turn it over to staff.
Okay, so for the special use permit stipulations for the special meeting, the Manistee County Planning Department recommends approval of all of the applications below based on the following stipulations. All special use permits are to include the following. If a parcel is sold, the special use permit must go with the parcel. All work must be completed as required. Sites must be developed to plan specifications. Existing pole signs must be removed. All site plans using the word propose must be changed to install. Sites with parking space changes must change parking calculations and resubmit for approval to the planning department as a non-substantive change. Must have interconnections to neighboring parcels via easements on west and east side of parcel and agreements written into deed which allow for the movement across property lines. Site plans must be resubmitted for parcels affected, showcasing said connections for vehicular movement. Soil erosion permits are required through Manistee County. All parcels to have fire suppression system. All parcels must have Knox box on the building for fire department entrance. Sign permits required through the planning department with zoning approval finalized by the planning commissioner agreement. Applicant must schedule an appointment when work's completed for zoning administrator approval. Applicant must provide digital CAD files and site plans to planning department and surveys to the equalization department. The last one is the special use permit is valid for up to the planning commission to decide tonight. I know we talked about 2 years in the past or 1 to 2. It's up to the planning commission to decide right now for the last stipulation. The length of time in years for the special use permit validity, it's recommended by the planning department for between 1 and 2 years. So it's up to you now to.
Wasn't the state 1 year?
What?
Don't they have to renew to the state for their licensing a yearly basis?
Yes, but this is for the length of the special use permit.
Yeah, I know, but I thought if we could go along with that, if we could go along with their terms, then they wouldn't be confused. I don't know. It's up to Mark.
No, it's up to us. I mean, we discussed it.
How about 1
and
year then?
1 year?
Yeah.
Marlene?
Great.
One?
One's fine.
One?
I mean,
Okay, looks like 1 year. Okay.
So those are the stipulations for all the different special use permits. Is there any discussion from the planning commission to add any more or to detract any?
Go
Go ahead, if you have anything.
I just had a question on, you said this parking thing, did we work that out with, where you have the interconnections with neighboring businesses?
Yep, so as the applicants provide CAD files to the planning department and surveys equalization, we'll then be able to determine middle points for each engineering team to give to them to resubmit their plans.
Oh, I see, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Are these, the sites with parking space changes, are these the ones we suggested?
Yeah, I'll pull up a map now of the district so we can look at it and if there were any specific questions about it. Is that visible on this different screens for everyone? Okay,
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
all right, so in the middle of the district, there is now orange parking located on the south side of one of the parcels, which we'll get into the site-specific stipulations, and then eliminating some more of the parking on a different site further down. But like I said, those are site-specific stipulations. But yes, those are showcased on the work map. Is that what you're?
But those, the ones you're referencing here that you just read, that's what we did.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, that was through the work session that we had. I think it was August, maybe 15th or 19th. 20-something, anyway, regardless, it was on the work map, that was through the planning commission, and all these documents will be provided to all the different teams, and there's hard copies in the audience tonight for review.
Is there any public comment on this? Nothing?
In the stipulation.
Please come to the podium.
I haven't been involved, so I apologize.
Just name and address, please.
Craig Vandry, 22 Cottage Lane.
Okay.
As far as signage is concerned, is that something that you guys are addressing in regards to that length of area, size, and the whole bit? Has that been decided?
Definitely, yeah, in the codified ordinance for the different marijuana business types, there are different sign requirements, including no pole signs, strict stipulations for illumination and things, and there is a size requirement. Each applicant team will need to provide a sign permit application, I think which was read, they're required through the planning department and zoning approval, which has a list of different requirements, and I can make that available to you if you're interested.
I'd like, in a setback signage, like at the building, or
It's, I think currently
at the street level?
4 feet, but
But I mean, there's not gonna be anything like by the sidewalk area or anything like that? It's all gonna be back?
yeah, it's gonna be set back off the property line enough for visual sight lines for different cars and pedestrians, so it'll be required for that.
And will there be lighting in the parking lot throughout the whole space, or just like from everything that's on that? Will it be like a Meyer parking lot type lighting system?
There'll be individualized lighting plans for each of the different applicant and parcel teams, so there's not necessarily a congruent lighting plan for the whole district, like a Meyer would be if you consider that a whole district, but there are individualized lighting plans per parcel and per application.
Okay, thanks. And I can pick that up from,
Yeah, of course. I can make myself available.
We know that early on in the process that the commission had wanted to put stipulations on color palette as well. With the approval of the sign permit as per requirement of the special use permitting process, we feel that issuing out a sign permit with as part of the special use process and having a requirement in there that it has to be approved by us and then meet final approval by commissioners, you can also still control the color palette through that. So we just wanted to make sure that you guys were aware of that before we move forward, if there was any concerns with that.
So those are all the stipulations for each of the applicant teams. All of the first flush of 10 sites that we're reviewing tonight for the special use permits will, and the others that have come afterwards will adhere to these following stipulations. These are all for each of the parcels in the district.
So are there any issues from the planning commission from a special use permit requirement on any of the 10 that have been submitted? Or are they all basically fully qualified to
Everyone
granted
is
a
fully
permit.
qualified from planning and zoning. There are certain specific stipulations on each site that would need to happen for them to be approved eventually. So all these approvals are contingent on these different stipulations being met, though. That being said, once they're granted, they will be able to move on to the next process while they're working through these different stipulations and resubmitting their site plans to the planning department.
So the short answer is basically, the stipulations that are being read by Mr. Story this evening would be tied to each individual permit if you approve tonight. And then they can resubmit to us, and it can be administratively approved. They don't have to come back before the planning commission. They resubmit to us. I mean, they're basically approved tonight as long as they submit a site plan that meets all of this. We can stamp it, issue their special use permit, and they're on their way, if that's what the question was.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Further, the amount of special use permits that can be granted in this district doesn't have a number. As special use permits go, there can be an unlimited number. The next process has the different types of numbering systems. So that being said, should be noted too.
And each of these will be a roll vote, so we'll have 10 votes.
I make a motion that we consolidate it all into one vote unless there is any objections. We've gone
gotta
through
do the
these
individual.
site plans at least 4 or 5 times.
Okay.
Unless there would be an issue, could we just approve all 10?
You
You gotta do them individually.
You could approve the initial stipulations for all of them on one vote, and then do each specific site stipulations as separate votes, though those need to,
My recommendation would be to do each site individually, have them, for each site, adopt the stipulations that cover everybody and cover the individual site stipulations in the same. That way, we only have a motion for each one, because otherwise you're gonna have one blanket motion, and they're gonna have individual motions anyway. So let's just handle it under individual motions.
That's fine.
Be quicker and cleaner.
All right, so the motion would be,
Can I ask a
yep, go ahead.
question? If we approve all 10 of these, who decides how many actually gets?
City council does.
Council.
Well,
Yes, the fine.
But, and have they set up an amount of permits they're gonna allow?
yes, they have.
Well, I thought there was discussion on that yet, Mick.
Is
Well,
it-
it was at the last board, so it's,
Last week it was.
But is it 5 or 3 then?
it's 5, and unlimited for medical marijuana.
Okay.
Covers everybody.
5 processing, 5 dispensaries, and unlimited for, what,
Medical,
Five retail, 5 micro business, unlimited provisioning, is what we read in the paper.
oh,
All right. All right, so let's get going.
okay.
First one, 28 Arthur Street.
Yeah.
Okay, no,
Yeah.
no, on
Oh, I'm
this,
sorry.
28.
Yep.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
28 Arthur Street. North side gravel area will be turned into green space. North side drive at least 25 feet wide, must be connected to 30 Arthur Street parcel. New,
No, 30 is the parcel in between.
new deeded easement recorded with the county equalization department. So,
Register of deeds.
was there a motion on 20,
Make that correction.
28
hold
Arthur
on
Street?
hold on one second, excuse
That
me.
should say registered deeds.
Instead of county equalization, it should say Manistee County Register of Deeds instead.
Yep.
So would you like me to read the stipulations for each of the sites, or would,
If you'd like, go ahead, please.
okay. So on the 28 Arthur, it'd be turning the north side gravel area into a green space. The north side drive needs to be at least 25 feet wide and connected the neighboring parcel to the north 30 Arthur Street. The new deeded easement will be recorded with County Register of Deeds, and all of the stipulations read before will be need to be adopted as well.
Okay.
All right,
I make a motion that we accept.
I second.
okay, motion by Mick, second by Bob. Any discussion? Please take roll.
Commissioner Slawinski,
Yes.
Commissioner Smansky,
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas. Commissioner Weiner. Commissioner McBride. Commissioner Yoder.
Yes.
Chair Whitliff.
Yes. 32 Arthur Street, special use permit.
Besides all the stipulations read before, relocating parking to the south side of the building, as shown on the work map, is required. No parking located within easement portion of future interconnection. A 25-foot wide south drive on parcel must connect to 30 Arthur Street parcel. Reconfiguring the dumpster as shown on work session map required. Removing small green space to combine to north and east parcels as shown on work map. Placing yield and pedestrian signs as shown on the work map, as well as a new deeded easement recorded with the County Register of Deeds. Will be the specific site stipulations for 32 Arthur.
32 Arthur, all right.
Okay.
I'll move we approve that one.
Okay.
I'll second.
Motion by Rogers, second by Shelley. Any discussion? None? Please take roll.
Commissioner Slawinski,
Yes.
Commissioner Smansky,
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas. Commissioner Weiner,
Yes.
Commissioner McBride,
Yes.
Commissioner Yoder,
Yes.
Chair Whitliff.
Yes. Thank you. 50 Arthur Street, special use permit.
Besides all that was read before, the site-specific stipulations include the following. Rotating the dumpster for collection to match with neighboring parcels. Loading zone to be placed on the west side behind building. Eliminate some parking spaces closest to the east side of parcel near US 31. Place yield and pedestrian signs as shown on the work map. And new deeded easement recorded with County Register of Deeds. All of these things are showcased on the work map except the new deeded access.
All right.
Okay, is there a motion?
I'll move, yes.
Motion by Rogers, second by
Second.
Mick. Discussion? None? Please take roll.
Commissioner Slawinski,
Yes.
Commissioner Smansky,
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas, Commissioner Weiner,
Yes.
Commissioner McBride,
Yes.
Commissioner Yoder,
Unlimited. Yes, ma'am.
Chair Whitliff.
Yes. Thank you.
But, Marco?
Yes, sir.
All right, could I ask a question?
Sure, go ahead.
Before we continue? All right, so we've approved, as I understand it now, 3 locations, correct?
Correct.
Now, in these 3 locations, what are they going to do? Are they going to process, are they going to dispense, or are they going to retail? So what I'm trying to get at is how many of the 5 have we covered?
Those will be handled through the city's process. On their special use permit applications, it's going over the land and any marijuana business can be applied for. The next step through the city will have site-specific marijuana licensing permitting steps, and then they will describe what their,
Oh, okay, all right.
So what we're basically doing is approving the site-specific type of thing, not the type of business. They're meeting the site requirements, is what,
Yeah, well, they can have a marijuana business, but we're not approving what type.
what type. We're,
Right.
Okay.
yeah,
all
we're
righty.
making sure they match the
Yeah, all right,
requirements of how the business should be handled.
All right,
okay,
okay, we good?
yeah,
All right.
thank you.
Fantastic. 74 Arthur Street, special use permit.
besides, excuse me, what was noted before, the following stipulations are required for the site specific to 74 Arthur. Nothing specific beside what's been noted before, besides a new deeded easement recorded with the County Register of Deeds.
Okay, do we have a motion?
Accept them.
Motion by Marlene, second by
Second.
Bob. Discussion? None? Please take roll.
Commissioner Slawinski,
Yes.
Commissioner Smansky,
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas, Commissioner Weiner,
Yes.
Commissioner McBride, Commissioner Yoder, Chair Whitliff.
Yes, thank you. Two 214 Arthur Street, special use permit.
Besides what was noted earlier, the following stipulations are for the site specific to 214 Arthur. Eliminating the north drive and placing curb cut at Old North Drive location. Place dumpster parallel to building on the north side of parcel. South parking to have front handicap vertical spacing parallel to the building. And new deeded easement recorded with County Register of Deeds. All these things are shown on a specific work map that is not currently this work map, but there's there's no other applications around that area, so they have their own site-specific work map that we worked on.
I think, one thing I see where it said place curb cut at North Drive location, it should be eliminate curb cut at north side.
Okay, let me pull up the map here so we can all look at it before.
Confusing.
Can everyone see that all right? So,
Upside down now.
it is upside down, I guess I'll rotate it here.
Yeah,
Hold on.
rotate it real quick.
No?
But then it's gonna look,
It's not upside.
I know, yeah, it is. North is,
North is,
rotate one more
north
time.
is towards,
There you go.
There we go.
Yep, north is up now.
yeah.
Is that better to see? So the north side curb cut is showcased with the red X on the north side, or the top of the picture, if you will. The green is removing the asphalt and putting in green space up until the dumpster, which is located in the black, needs to be parallel to the building. The parking, which is showcased in the other red X on the south side of the parcel, needs to be eliminated, and the handicap spaces need to go vertical along the building
Vertical, okay.
as stipulations for this special use permit, along with the others read earlier.
Is that good, Bob?
Yeah, because when it says place a curb cut, it means you're gonna put a curb cut in. We're eliminating that curb cut on the north side of the building.
So eliminate North Drive and curb cut. Eliminate North Drive and curb cut.
Yep.
Yep.
And at Old,
Place curb cut, that means we're putting one in.
I understand, thank you.
Yeah.
Good idea.
Catch, Bob. All right. Is there a, did we do a motion already?
I'll make a motion with, as long with the corrections.
Okay, motion with the corrections from Bob, second.
Second.
Nick, discussion? Please take roll.
Commissioner Slawinski,
Yes.
Commissioner Smansky,
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas,
Yes.
Commissioner Weiner,
Yes.
Commissioner McBride,
Yes.
Commissioner Yoder,
Yes.
Chair Whitliff.
Yes. Thank you. Next, 24 Arthur Street Special Use Permit.
Besides everything that was listed before, the site-specific stipulations for 24 Arthur Street are nothing specific besides what's been noted. This parcel stands alone in the district and has its own separate curb cut, being that it has the smallest area of parcel. There are no connections feasible, so the only stipulation is what was noted earlier.
Motion?
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Mick, second.
I'll second.
By Shelley, discussion? None? Please take roll.
Commissioner Slawinski,
Yes.
Commissioner Smansky,
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas,
Yes.
Commissioner Weiner,
Yes.
Commissioner McBride,
Yes.
Commissioner Yoder,
Yes.
Chair Whitliff.
Yes. Thank you. Next, 34 Arthur Street Special Use Permit.
Once again, what was showcased before are stipulations for every site, but the site-specific stipulations for 34 Arthur Street are as follows. Closed curb cut on the north end of parcel, connect green space to 48 Arthur Street parcel as shown in work map, and the new deeded easement shall be recorded with the county register of deeds.
Okay. Good. Motion?
I make motion.
Motion by Bob, second.
I'll second.
Roger, discussion? None? Please take roll.
Commissioner Slawinski,
Yes.
Commissioner Smansky,
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas,
Yes.
Commissioner Weiner,
Yes.
Commissioner McBride,
Yes.
Commissioner Yoder,
Yes.
Chair Whitliff.
Yes, thank you. 48 Arthur Street Special Use Permit.
All stipulations noted before will be required for this site, as well as the following site-specific stipulations for 48 Arthur Street. Rotating dumpster for collection to match with neighboring parcels as showcased on the work map, as well as a new deeded easement recorded with County Register of Deeds.
Is that good?
Uh-huh.
Motion?
I'll make motion.
Motion by Marlene, second by Roger. Discussion? None? Please take roll.
Commissioner Slawinski,
Yes.
Commissioner Smansky.
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas. Commissioner Weiner.
Yes.
Commissioner McBride. Commissioner Yoder.
Yes.
Chair Whitliff.
Yes. Thank you. 52 Arthur Street, special use permit.
Previously stated stipulations will be required for this site as well as the following site-specific stipulations for 52 Arthur Street. Rotating dumpster for collection to match with neighboring parcels is required. Placing yield and pedestrian signs as shown on work map is required. Adding a 25-foot wide driveway to the north side of parcel to connect to the north side, the north parcel is required. And finally, adding a new deeded easement recorded with the county register of deeds will be required.
All right, that's 52 Arthur. Is that good for everybody? Okay,
I'll
is
make
there a motion?
on that one.
Motion by Shelley, second.
Second.
Bob, questions, discussion? None, please take roll.
Commissioner Slawinski.
Yes.
Commissioner Smansky.
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas.
Before, yeah.
Commissioner Weiner.
Yes.
Commissioner McBride. Commissioner Yoder. Chair Whitliff.
Yes, thank you. And last but not least, 64 Arthur Street.
All right, as noted before, the stipulations read will be required for this site as well as the following site-specific stipulations for 64 Arthur Street. Site is to be developed to specifications on site plan, add 25 feet wide driveway to connect to north and south parcel as shown on work map, as well as a new deeded easement shall be recorded with the county register of deeds.
Okay, thank you. Is that good for everyone?
Yeah.
Okay, motion?
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Mick, second by Roger. Discussion? None? Please take roll.
Mm-hmm.
Commissioner Slawinski.
Yes.
Commissioner Smansky.
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas. Commissioner Weiner.
Yes.
Commissioner McBride. Commissioner Yoder.
Yes.
Chair Whitliff.
Yes, thank you. Next, public comments. Anyone want to speak? If you do, please approach the podium. Nothing? Correspondence? Anything, Kyle?
No correspondence.
All right. Staff reports?
I have a report. The planning department will be in touch with all the applicant teams regarding the decision of this special meeting tonight. The timeline for that will be noted in the memo sent out by Monday. That will showcase the different timelines moving forward and what's to be expected going into the city's process for marijuana permitting. Survey points. And getting the different survey points together will happen shortly as well. That being said, we just approved 10 special use permits, and it was a tumultuous timeline, for example. I would like to thank everyone involved. The Planning Commission, I think, did a really great job, and it was really easy to work together, so.
Approved.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Huge.
Your leadership.
It's huge, you guys. I've never experienced 10 special use permits at once. I've been doing this for 10 years.
Yeah. I imagine Kyle hasn't either. 30 years from now, Kyle, you can all put this back in the books.
Yep.
Thanks, Roger.
Member discussion? Roger, you have anything?
As far as discussion? No. Or other, I don't know, do we still have any idea what the hell they're doing by the Legion over there? Digging that hole? Is that pretty much done?
That's the
Environmental?
That's environmental.
Yeah, that's cleanup.
Oh,
That's brownfield cleanup.
that's been going on, I just wondered, no, I got
Yeah,
nothing.
wasn't that the location of the foundry and an old tannery and so forth used to be there years ago? Yeah.
Yeah,
Gas plant.
When they
Some
found those old
serious
bones, they exploded
contamination,
everything.
so.
Yeah.
no, I'm good, Cato, thank you.
Okay, Marlene?
Thank you. I'd like to thank everybody and our staff for, it's been a long, tedious, and a lot of work, and
Yeah.
a lot of hours. I appreciate it, all the time presented.
Thank you. Pam?
Yeah, you guys have made this a whole lot easier.
Yeah.
Kelly?
Well, I
You did
think
more than you
we
think.
perhaps owe some gratitude to all the applicants for all their hard work as well, and hope that they will be happy in our community.
Nick?
Again, same thing. I think the applicants have done a great job as collaborating and cooperating with the planning department to to kind of create a vision for this area that will not only be visually an improvement for the community, but also, I think, an enticement for your customer base as well, so.
Bob?
I'd like to thank the staff for their hard work, and now that we went through all this stuff, they've got a good idea of handle what we're gonna look for, which will make their jobs easier, because now they've got a checklist to work with.
Yeah.
That'll help streamline some parts on their end, take some of the headaches off, and they can quit pulling their hair out of their head.
Mark?
Thanks to the applicants.
Oh, one question.
Sure, go ahead.
Do we have a timeline then, as we're going now, when a possible opening for one of these places?
I have no timeline, no.
Timeline, months, 6 months, 7 months?
Literally no idea. I don't know.
I mean, you could ask the applicants.
Special use?
I mean, yeah, I guess suppose you could, but they have to go through permits yet and then remodel or fix up and things, so it'll probably, it wouldn't be this year, you wouldn't think, eh?
Got one back there.
Go ahead.
I do suppose that I have a counter question to the question, which is there more information available
Oh,
on?
could you please come to the podium?
Sure, no problem, sorry about that.
Oh, I didn't mean to bring up a whole can of worms.
Nick Piedmont, Fresh Coast, Traverse City, Michigan. I guess we'd just be interested in any more information as it pertains to the city clerk permitting process. What's the timeline with that? When can we submit those applications? How long does that process take? Do I understand that there's a city council review, apparatus in there, so?
Unfortunately, we have not been part of that process, and we have no information on it. That's a city clerk question.
Sure, all right, great. We can submit those to the city clerk. So I think, Kyle, you had sent out something that maybe was a 6-day grace period, but that was before the 2-week delay, so.
So this timeline that I'll be mailing out, or sending memos will be on Monday, outlining the different
Awesome.
timeline.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Again, I reiterate,
Thanks, Mark.
all the hard work that staff has done,
Yeah.
and the applicants have put in a ton of time, so thank you. And just one question, we're getting to that time of year again, where there's some commissioners that were terming out. So if we could get a list of who's going to be, need to reapply if they so choose.
They so choose.
I'll note that for the next meeting on October 3rd, I think.
Yeah, it's October already, eh, Mark?
Hey, what's this I hear about you? What did I do?
Yeah, you sticker.
I wanna know what I did.
I like it.
Yes, I am.
Want a campaign.
Yes.
I like it.
Yeah,
That's what I heard.
yeah. It's in the paper, it's
From the
official.
great- Oh, it's in the paper?
It's in the.
I like it.
Okay, what's up?
I think we're all set, yeah.
We, take a motion for adjournment.
Oh.
Second.
Motion, meeting adjourned. Thank you.